Welcome to another episode of UCRD Reviews. So today I have the RGM-79N GM Custom version anime. So this GM variant appeared in Gundam 0083 Stardust Memory, and is one of the main mobile suits in the series and appears in almost every episode. It was piloted by Bernard Mancha and a couple other pilots aboard the Albion. It also was featured in Gundam Build Fighters briefly, as well as one of the Zeta Gundam compilation movies as an AEUG mobile suit, which was pretty cool. So it doesn't have much of a figure history. It did get an MSIA release way back in the day when they were doing MSIAs in Asia and the United States. I had the US version, and it was a good figure, but it's also, I think, almost 20 years old now. So this one's very much due for an upgrade. And we finally have it in the Robot Spirits line. So let's take a look at it real quick. So let's check out the GM that tried to take down a Gundam and almost did it. So this is the GM Custom. It looks really, really good. They got the color just about perfect. I mean, this is exactly what it's supposed to look like. The head here is sculpted nice. You just have the seam line going down the middle there, but that's nothing crazy. Visor looks good. Head Vulcans are sculpted in. Color's nice. Head will go up about that far and down, and then of course it rotates. The arms are ball jointed at the shoulder. You do have a swivel there. Elbows go about that far. You have the shield hard point. Hands are ball jointed, and then you have a little swiveling piece inside the wrist. You do have a little bit of chest flex there. Everything looks good on the chest in terms of coloring and detail. It'll move down about that far. It won't go up, it just kind of, this is its resting state, and then it does swivel around. Moving to the backpack, you have thrusters that are technically on a ball joint, although they don't hardly move at all. They are compatible with thruster effect parts. You have storage in the center as well as on each side. Then you have the beam saber recharge rack, which let's go ahead and pop that on. You do want to be careful of the beam saber end piece there. The head, I forgot to mention, has a little teeny tiny antenna that you can attach. That goes on real easily. You do have a replacement, and it looks really good. Easy to remove too, which is nice, so you can put it all back in the box. The waist armor is ball jointed in the front and the side. You have a little thruster detail. Rear waist armor has a bazooka storage, and it has two thruster effect compatible verniers here. The hips have that weird swivel joint that all these version animes have. They can move outward. Whoops. Let's put this back on here. The armor likes to pop off quite a bit. Hips can come outward quite a bit. There is no thigh swivel. The knee articulation's pretty good. And with the feet, you have a ball jointed ankle armor piece here. Feet will come down and forward, and then side to side. You do have toe articulation, and the bottom of the feet are thruster effect compatible. So it has a good amount of articulation, nothing crazy. It looks amazing. I mean, that's really the takeaway here, is it looks great. I don't have any complaints with how it looks. It has all the detail it needs. Bottom of the feet could probably use a little bit of paint, but other than that, I mean, it looks fantastic. So let's check out what it comes with real quick. The GM Custom comes with the standard assortment of hands, as well as the version anime hand rack. Everything seems to work well. It also comes with the 90mm bullpup machine gun that we've seen before in several releases, including the GPO-1 and the GM Kai. It is compatible with effect parts. But the big one here is the new weapon, which is the GM rifle. This cool looking rifle features a removable magazine, which I think this one should too, but it doesn't. And the reason for that is due to the shield. So the shield actually has two little pegs down here, and the magazines, you get two extras, feature little hard points you saw there, and they'll plug right in. They don't stay on perfectly well. They will fall off sometimes, but they tend to fit on there pretty well. They do have a little bit of a imprint on the other side, but this is the shield. It's a GM Command style shield. You can also store the rifle in two different configurations with this piece up here. This piece is completely removable. Take the magazines off there, and this shield can be stored on the back with this weird looking little piece. So you just plug it in to the back here, if I can get it in there, and plug the ball joint in, and you have the shield stored. The shield also comes with, if I can get this off of there, two different pieces to store on the arm. One that goes around the arm, which I can demonstrate here, which has the shield coming out the side of the arm, and then the other piece had it where the ball joint's down here. So you have two different ways to pose with the shield, which is kind of nice. So for the smaller rifle, the storage piece will fit over the top of it, and it will peg into either side and store like so. Very similar to how the GPO-1 stored it. The GM rifle, however, goes right over the cheek rest there, and will actually store on this side like so. So this is how the instructions say to store the rifle. I think it looks kind of goofy, the rifle sticking up quite a bit over the top of the figure. It doesn't look good neutrally posed. I choose to instead, see if I can get it in there, I store it like that. So you have options. I think that looks a little bit more natural, having it stored straight down like that. But you can, the good thing is you can kind of store them however you want. And they have storage. You know, a lot of weapons don't have any sort of storage capability. So I do like this. I just prefer it in that direction. So the last piece in here for the regular weapons is the beam saber blade. And it's going to be the same one that comes with all the 0083 releases, and it fits in just fine. So now we are left with the effect parts. So the first ones here are the thruster effects, and they're pretty standard, more detailed than your 0079 version anime effect parts, and they have the slanted pegs. We have the slashing beam saber effect, which looks good. Same one that came with the GPO-1. And then we have this. So it's two pieces fit together. We saw it with GPO-1. It was pink. It was a beam rifle firing effect. We saw it with GPO-2. It was green. It was a giant beam saber effect. And now it's this. It looks okay. It's supposed to be a machine gun firing effect. I think this gun and the GM rifle would have fared better with the shorter burst machine gun firing effect that the 0079 figures came with. I think this is a lazy way to reuse this piece. I don't think it looks as good as it could. So, yeah, you get that. So I decided to do a comparison with two other figures, the GM Command Space Type and the GM Type C ground version. So let's take a look at these two first. So the GM Command is very different from the GM Custom. I mean, it has a different body build to it. You know, everything, the legs are all pretty different. But the main reason I brought it out was to take a look at the shields. You'll see that the GM Custom uses a upgraded, slightly modified version of the GM Command's shield, which is pretty cool. Other than that, they are two very different mobile suits. The GM Command sports 2 beam sabers, while the GM Custom only has one. The antenna's on the backpack for this model, where it's on the head for the Custom, and this backpack is made much more for space combat than the GM Custom. But the detail on the GM Custom's figure is much more refined, which I like. And if you want to see my big rant on why the GM Command doesn't have a 90mm bullpup machine gun, you can check that out in that review. But next here we're going to take a look at the GM Kai, or the GM Type C. So the head is very different, a little bit bulkier on this model. You do have the same type of beam saber, it's just recolored. The body is very similar, just some minor differences. Skirt armor is a little bit different, a little bit bulkier on the Custom. Same with the legs, a little bit bulkier, but pretty much the same. The GM Kai uses the older Earth Federation shield, and then on the back here you have a smaller backpack. The bottom portion here is the same, even uses the same storage type, but otherwise very similar. So really neat, 3 really awesome looking mobile suits that are well represented as figures. So this GM Custom figure looks really nice posed. It's a solid release. It comes with a good assortment of weapons. Every weapon that it used in the anime it comes with, which is nice. It could use a hyper bazooka, but you know, didn't use one in the show. The effect parts were good. They were okay. I didn't really like the machine gun firing effect. I think it would have looked better with something shorter, something that reflected a machine gun more. But the figure itself is really solid. It has the correct coloring on it, which is nice because the GM Custom is kind of an odd color, this weird mint green. You have storage for every weapon that it comes with, and it just looks really good. It's a very easy figure to put in a lot of neat poses. So I think I paid $55 and change for mine before shipping, and it's well worth that. You know, it's a regular release, so it's a little easier to pick up than the P Bandai stuff, but well worth it, especially if you're picking up the GM Cannon 2 that's getting released, I think, in a couple months here, maybe next month. But this is a good one. Absolutely pick it up. I really like the GM Custom, and I hope that we get a few more things from this 0083 line, like the Gelgoog Marines and the Cabrera Tetra. But we will have to see for the future. Thank you for watching this video and supporting my channel, and I will see y'all next time.